Next up, we have big tech CEOs, among many others, railing against President Trump's immigration order. CEOs of Google, Twitter, Facebook, Apple, all now speaking out, joining other CEOs from Tesla, Nike, Ford, Allergan, GE, and Goldman Sachs. They are publicly condemning the ban. They're arguing immigrants make up the fabric of their companies. However, my next guest takes an exception to these CEOs. He says they're doing more to enable ISIS and hurt terrorists. He's attorney Keith Altman. He represents victims of the Paris and Orlando terror attacks. He's suing Facebook, Google, and Twitter. Keith, thanks so much for coming on the show. Can you explain what you mean by this disconnect that you see between these tech CEOs and the terrorists using their platforms to recruit and organize?
Liz, thank you for having me on your show. At my firm, 1-800 Law Firm, we continue to look at this issue very closely. And it just seems that these companies are very quick to criticize others in their actions, but at the same time, they don't look at their own house and see what is it that they could do to better protect the public from ISIS and other terrorists using their tools to conduct terrorist operations. And it just seems to be this total inconsistency in their positions.
So, you know, we've got Mark Zuckerberg posting on his own Facebook page, Keith, saying, quote, like many of you, I'm concerned about the impact of the executive order signed by Trump. We need to keep this country safe, but we should do that by focusing on people who actually pose a threat. We should keep our doors open to refugees and those who need help. That's who we are. What do you think of Zuckerberg giving this advice?
Well, I think Mr. Zuckerberg ought to take his own advice. Why can't they do something with Facebook, along with Twitter and Google, in order to stop ISIS from using their sites? There are a lot of things that they can do. For some reason, they choose not to take these actions.
You know, Keith, here's the thing. Somehow the social media sites stopped, and Senator Dianne Feinstein has pointed this out a couple of years ago. The social media sites somehow can stop child pornography at the front door. Why can't they stop these guys coming in on these websites?
Well, there's two different things that they could do. One are certain behaviors. We've talked about this in the past. They take these sites down, and then they pop right back up. They do it in an obvious way. They reconnect to all the people they were connected to in a way that is easily detectable. For some reason, they choose not to do that. But also, these messages, they need to be found by others. Otherwise, they're ineffective. They can't recruit new people if people can't find the message. There are certain words, certain phrases, things that they use, just like the child pornographers use, in order to be able to allow people to find them. Why can't they look for these things as well?
Dr. Altman, always terrific having you on. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me on. Look forward to seeing you next time.